Have we got any mic? 20 seconds to make changes to your opening squat. Ladies and gentlemen, this session will be the sub-junior and junior ladies together with all the master men, classic powerlifting. No more changes. No more changes to opening squat. Lifting will start in 3 minutes.
The first athlete on the platform in just over a minute will be Joanna Ridgard from South Africa. And Joanna is lifting in the same session as her father, Alan. She'll be followed by Irene Genley from Cameroon, also lifting with her father. It's becoming a family business. It's fantastic. Here we go. We got 30 seconds to lifting. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to start our second session. Bar is loaded for Joanna. Let's make a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome her to the platform as we get started.
Squat. Rack.
And 3 wide lights. That's a good lift. Well done.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Now for Erin Genley from Cameroon.
Squat. Rack.
And 3 wide lights. That's a good lift. Karamin from South Africa up next, and she'll be followed by, bar is loaded for Karamin from South Africa, and she'll also be followed by South Africa and then Cameroon.
Trek.
And that's a good lift. Up next, we have South Africa's Serena, and she will be followed by Cameroon.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Confident. Easy weight. That's it. Big chest, nice and tight. In
Squat.
and out. Up!
Trek.
What a girl.
3 white lights. It's a good lift for Serena. The bar goes to 100 for Omar Gaston Tingunzo.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Omar. Two father and daughter pairs in this session.
Squat. Trek.
It's a good lift, 3 white lights. The bar goes to 125 for Marianka Fourie of South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Marianka.
Dan. Squat. Trek.
It's a good lift, 3 white lights. The bar stays on 125 for Dan Oppenheim. Rack height 14 in.
She must clean it. It's loaded.
Bar is loaded for Dan. Let's go, Dan.
Ink. Ink. They cake. Squat. Trek.
And 3 white lights. That's a good lift and a great opener for Dan from South Africa. Glenn van der Linde from, Alan is up. Bar is loaded for Alan from South Africa. He'll be followed by South Africa's Glenn van der Linde.
Squat. Trek.
And that's a good lift for Joanna's dad. Up next is Glenn van der Linde representing South Africa. He'll be, bar is loaded for Glenn. Glenn will be followed by Tommy Denason, also from South Africa.
Squat. Trek.
3 white lights. That's a good lift for Glenn. Tommy Denason from South Africa up next, and he'll be followed by
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Asa from Algeria and Enrico from South Africa. Bar loaded for Tommy.
Squat. Trek.
And 3 white lights. That's a good lift for Tommy. Esai from Algeria up next, followed by Enrico from South Africa. Bar is loaded.
Squat.
Up.
Trek.
And that's a good lift. Great opener there. Enrico up next from South Africa. He'll be followed by South Africa's Hermanus de Beer. And Hermanus will be followed by Brahm from South Africa.
Black. Swap. Loaded.
Bar is loaded for South Africa's Enrico. Ladies and gentlemen, no flash photography.
Trek.
And that's a good lift. And a new African record. Ladies and gentlemen, no flash photography in the arena, please. Hermanus up next, representing South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Hermanus de Beer from South Africa.
Squat. Trek.
3 white lights for Hermanus. That's a good lift. Brahm for South Africa is up next, and he'll be followed by John Crane, also from South Africa.
Koos. Stoot hulle in. Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Brahm van Hestien from South Africa.
Squat. Trek.
And 3 white lights for Brahm. That's a good lift. John Crane from South Africa up next.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for John Crane.
Squat. Rack.
2-1. That's a good lift for John Crane. Let's start our second round of squats with Joanna Ridgard from South Africa, and she'll be followed by Cameroon and South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. Up next is Erin Genley from Cameroon, and she'll be followed by 2 South African athletes.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
And that's a good lift for Cameroon. Karamin up next for South Africa, and she'll be followed by South Africa's Serena. Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
And that's a good lift. 3 white lights. Serena up next, followed by Cameroon and then South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Bar loaded for Serena from South Africa.
Right off the rack. Chest. That's it. In and out for me.
Squat.
Away.
Rack.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. 120 on the bar next for Omer Gastor from Cameroon. And will be followed by Marianka from South Africa. And then Dan from South Africa.
Black. Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
3 white lights. Très bon, Omer. Très bon. Up next, we have Marianka from South Africa, followed by Dan Oppenheim from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Bar loaded for Marianka.
Squat. Rack.
3 wide lights. That's a good lift. Dan Oppenheim up next for South Africa. 135 on the bar for this Master 4 lifter.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Dan. Dan will be followed by Glenn from South Africa and Alan from South Africa.
I was loaded.
Bar is loaded. Dan, all yours.
Squat.
Come on, Dan.
Rack.
2 to 1. That's a good lift for Dan. And a big smile from the athlete. Glenn van den Linder up next. He'll be followed by Alan and Asaya from Algeria. Asa, sorry, excuse me.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Glenn.
Squat. Rack.
And that's a good lift for Glenn. Bar is going to stay on 145 for Alan. Bar is loaded for Alan Rudgaard from South Africa.
Squat. Rack.
3 white lights for Alan. That's a good lift. Asa from Algeria up next. And he'll be followed by Enrico and then Hermanus, both from South Africa. Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
Sorry, no lift, but a good fight there. Enrico from South Africa up next, and he'll be followed by South Africa's Hermanus, and then Brahm also from South Africa. Bar is loaded. Thank you.
Squat.
No flash photography. 3 white lights. That's a good lift.
The bar goes to 180 for Hermanus.
Joseph. In. Not in. It's loaded.
The bar is loaded for Hermanus.
Squat. Rack.
And 3 white lights. Up next, we have Brahm from South Africa, and Brahm will also be followed by John Crane from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Brahm Hastian.
Squat. Rack.
And that's a good lift. 220 on the bar for South Africa's John Crane for the last squat of the second round of squats.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
And that's a good lift for South Africa's John Crane. Joanna for South Africa up next, and she'll be followed by Cameroon and then South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Joanna Ridgard from South Africa.
Squat. Rack.
3 white lights, that's a good lift. And a very happy looking athlete. Cameroon's Erin Genley up next, and bar is loaded for Cameroon. Erin Genley will be followed by Karamin from South Africa and Serena from South Africa.
Squat. Rack. Neck.
That's a good lift. 80 kilos on the bar for the next lifter, rack height 11.
11. Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Thank you, Dubs.
Squat.
Give her a round of applause, folks. What a fight. What a fight. Serena from South Africa up next, and she'll be followed by South Africa and then Cameroon.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Serena. That's it, power girl. Use your breath, think about it. Come on now. Chest, nice and tight. Tight, kids, get up with this. In and out.
Squat.
Give a round of applause, folks. That was a good fight. Marianka up next for South Africa. She'll be followed by Cameroon and then Dan Oppenheim from South Africa. Bar loaded.
Light. No lift.
Timeout, please, referees.
Light.
Omar Gaston up next, 140 on the bar.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rack.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. Ladies and gentlemen, the bar has been loaded to 141 kilograms for Dan Oppenheim. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a South African, Africa masterful squat record attempt. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise. Bar loaded for Dan.
Ball loaded, Dan.
Let's help Dan get this Master for Africa squat record.
Squat.
Whew. 2-1. That is a good lift and a new Africa squat record for Dan. Well done, Dan. Glenn van der Linde up next, 150 on the bar, followed by Asa from Algeria and Alan from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Bar loaded for Glenn. Bar loaded for Glenn from South Africa.
Joseph. Joseph. Sy moet lights.
Time out. Sorry, no lift. Asa from Algeria up next, 155. Being loaded on the bar. Bar is loaded for Algeria.
Squat. Rek.
And that's a good lift. Alan from South Africa up next, 165. Then Enrico. Bar is loaded. And Enrico will be followed by South Africa's Hermanus.
Squat. Rek.
And that's a good lift for Alan. Enrico up next, followed by Hermanus, followed by Brahm.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rek.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. African Master 1 squat record. Well done. Well done. Hermanus up next for South Africa, followed by Brahm and then John Crane.
Joseph, sit hom eers in. Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Squat. Rek.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. Well done, Hermanus. Brahm Van Hastian up next with 205. This will be our last squat for the day.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Brahm. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for Brahm. Come on, Brahm, let's get this.
Squat. Rack.
And that's a good lift for Brom. Ladies and gentlemen, we will have a 20-minute break and be back with you for the bench press. to lift. So now, can you see the music on the computer? Bring it down in one of the sliders. Let's get ready to bench, ladies and gentlemen.
Bar is loaded.
Bar is loaded for Karamin from South Africa. Let's make some noise, folks. Let's get this bench press session started with a little bit of energy.
Start. Press. Rack.
Lightweight. 3 white lights, you heard it. That was easy. South Africa's Serena is up next, 45 on the bar, followed by Joanna from South Africa at 45. Bar is loaded.
Got this, girl. Come. Easy weight. Squeeze it hard. Shoulders hard into the bench. All the way.
Start. Press.
Push.
Rack.
3 white lights, that's a good lift. Joanna up next at 45 kilos. Bar is loaded for Joanna. Joanna will be followed by Cameroon, South Africa, and Cameroon.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Erin Genley from Cameroon. Erin will be followed by Miranka from South Africa, and then Omer Gaston from Cameroon.
Start. Press. Rack. Joseph.
And Chief, your lights, please.
Honey. Next time she must move the hands. Wees haar hande, Snoopy lyn, hoor.
Honey, lights.
Vrou, wat bench. Wees haar net laat.
Honey, lights, please. 3 white lights, that's a good lift. Thank you, Chief. Marianka from South Africa up next. Bar is loaded.
Easy way. Come. Concentrate now. Focus. Focus. Lightweight, girl.
Start. Press. Rack.
3 white lights, that's a good lift. Up next is Omar Gaston from Cameroon, followed by Asa from Algeria.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift, 2-1. Algeria up next, followed by Dan from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift. Dan Oppenheim from South Africa up next.
The woman from Cameroon. Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Dan.
The lady, the woman from Cameroon. Tell her they must put the hand in. It's not on the ring because they cannot see it, and I cannot say replace. Start. Press. Rack.
2-1. That's a good lift for Dan. Up next on the platform is Brahm from South Africa, and Brahm will be followed by Enrico and then Alan from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Concentrate. Squeeze that ball. Nice and tight.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift. Enrico up next. Enrico will be followed by Alan and then Glenn, all from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift. Alan up next, followed by Glenn, followed by Hermanus.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
3 white lights. That's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Glenn.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Hermanus.
Start. Press. Rack.
3 white lights for Hermanus. That's a good lift. Tommy Denason up next from South Africa. Tommy will be followed by John Crane.
Safeties. Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Tommy.
Start. Press.
Up.
Rack.
2-1. That's a good lift for Tommy. John Crane up next, 170 on the bar.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for John Crane from South Africa.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift for John. Bar's going to 32.5 for South Africa's Karamin Nika.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift. Well done. Serena up next, followed by Joanna from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar loaded.
Wait, come Joe. Sit up now. Confident. It's nice and tight.
Start. Press. Rack.
2-1. That's a good lift. Joanna from South Africa up next.
I cannot see the butt. Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
3 wide lights. That's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Erin from Cameroon. She'll be followed by Marianka from South Africa and Omer from Cameroon. Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's been a good lift. Marianka from South Africa up next. Marianka will be followed by Omer. Bar is loaded.
Take your time, man. Squeeze that bar tight. Come, girl. Come on.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift. Omega Store up next. 80 kilos on the bar, followed by Asa from Algeria and Dan from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
Two to one. That's a good lift. Asa up next from Algeria, followed by Dan from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
Three wide lights. That's a good lift. Dan for South Africa up next, 92.5, followed by Bram van Hastian. And bar is loaded for Dan. And Bram will be followed by Enrico from South Africa.
Start. Press. Rack.
2 to 1, no lift. Sorry, Dan. Bram is up next. Bram up next, 120 on the bar. Bram will be followed by Enrico.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Bram. Let's go, Bram.
It's loaded.
Let's go. Come on, Bram, lightweight.
Start. Press. Rack.
That's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
2-1. Sorry, Enrico. No lift. Glenn van der Linde up next. Glenn will be followed by Alan, who will be followed by Hermanus.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And 2-1. That's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift for Alan. Hermanus de Beer up next, 135, followed by Tommy de Nason at 146, which will be a record attempt. And 178 for John Crane, another record attempt. Bar loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And 3 wide lights. That's a good lift. All right, Tommy up next. 146. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a Master 3 Africa bench press record attempt. Let's make some noise for Tommy.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Tommy. Come on, Tommy, let's get this.
Start. Press.
Up.
Rack.
2-1. That's a good lift for Tommy. Well done, Tommy, and a new Africa record. John Crane up next, 178. Ladies and gentlemen, this is also a Master 2 record attempt in the bench.
178.
178.
Safety. It's loaded. Start. Press.
Up, 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 up.
Rack.
Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was a good fight. Let's get started with our third round.
$35. Loaded.
Bar is loaded. What have you done to my trackpad?
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift. Serena up next.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Get up now. All the way. I'm down, Serena.
Said start. Press. Rack.
2-1. That's a good lift.
She move after the start command.
Up next is Joanne. Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
Ladies and gentlemen, give her a round of applause. That was a good attempt.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Erin from Cameroon. Erin will be followed by South Africa, followed by Cameroon.
No, fingers. Start. Press.
And that's a good lift. Marianka up next. And Marianka will be followed by Omer and will be followed by Asa from Algeria. Bar is loaded for Marianka from South Africa.
Start. Press.
And that's a good lift. Happy athlete. 82.5 on the bar for Omer Gaston from Cameroon. He'll be followed by Issa from Algeria, and South Africa's Dan Oppenheim.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
Yeah. Sorry, 2-1, no lift. Give him a round of applause, folks. It was a good fight there. Algeria's Asai up next, followed by Dan and Brahm, then from South Africa. Chief, are we good?
Isa.
Yep, bar loaded.
He lift his head and his butt. So, watch the lifting, then you'll see. Start. Press. Rack.
Good fight there, so give him a round of applause, folks. That was a good fight. South Africa's Dan Oppenheim up next at 96.5. So this is another record attempt for the Master 4 Africa bench press record.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Dan. Let's make some noise, folks, for Dan for this record attempt.
Start. Press.
Up, 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 up. 3 white lights. That's a good lift for Dan. Ladies and gentlemen, something tells us Dan is quite happy. There we go. Brahm is up next, and Brahm will be followed by Enrico, followed by Glenn.
Loaded.
Bar loaded.
Start. Press. Rack.
And that's a good lift for Brahm.
Well done, Brahm.
Enrico up next. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get behind Enrico. We're going to help him get this lift up.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Enrico Johnson from South Africa. Come on, Enrico, let's get this. Come on, let's get this.
Start. Press. Rack.
That's a good lift. Glenn's up next, and bar is loaded for Glenn. Glenn will be followed by Alan, followed by Hermanus.
Start. Press. Rack.
3 white lights. Good lift, Glenn. Well done. Alan Regard up next, 120. He'll be followed by Hermanus to be at 140. And Tommy Denason for another record attempt. Bar is loaded for Alan.
Start. Press.
Up, 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 up.
Rack.
3 white lights for Alan. Also, Joanna's dad. Hermanus de Beer up next, 140 on the bar.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Hermanus.
Start. Press. Rack.
3 white lights. That's a good lift for Hermanus. Making it look easy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Tommy Denason up next, 151.5 kilos.
All of his silver.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a World Master 3 record attempt. Let's get behind Tommy and help him get this Master 3 world record.
It's loaded.
Bar is loaded for Tommy Denason from South Africa. Come on, Tommy. Let's get this, Tommy.
Start. Press.
Up, 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 up. Phew. Sorry, no lift. Give him a round of applause, folks. That was an incredible, incredible fight. Wow. John Crane is up next, coming out at 178 kilograms on the bar for a record attempt. The jury has overruled. That is a good lift and a new world record for Tommy Denason.
It's loaded.
Bar is loaded for John Crane. Let's make some noise as John goes for this Africa Bench Press Master 2 record attempt.
Okay.
Come on, John, let's get this. Focus.
Start. Press.
Up, 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 come on. Oh. Give him a round of applause, folks. It was a great fight. Really good effort there, John. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking a 20-minute break and be back with you for the deadlifts. Platform will be Karaman Naika from South Africa, followed by Serena, followed by Erin.
It's a good lift. 3 white lights. Bar goes to 95 for Serena.
Bar is loaded for Serena. Serena will be followed, Baron will be followed by Joanna, who will be followed by Umer. Bar is loaded for Serena.
Away. Come, Serena. Roasting speed.
Three white lights. That's a good lift. Bar is loaded for Erin. And that's a good lift. Bar is loaded for Joanna. Three white lights. That's a good lift. Omer is up next. Omer will be followed by Tommy, and Tommy will be followed by Glenn. Bar is loaded. And that's a good lift for Omer. Tommy Denason up next, 130 on the bar. Tommy will be followed by Glenn, who will be followed by Dan. Bar is loaded for Tommy. And that's a good lift for Tommy. Tommy has now secured his world record. Bar is loaded for Glenn van der Linde. 135. Glenn will be followed by Dan at 140. And that's a good lift for Glenn. 140 on the bar for Dan. Bar is loaded for Dan Oppenheim. Dan will be followed by Issa from Algeria and Alan from South Africa.
Down.
2-1. That's a good lift for Dan from South Africa. Asai from Algeria up next, followed by South Africa's Alan. Bar is loaded. Yalla, yalla, yalla.
Down.
And easy opener there. 3 white lights. 150 on the bar for Alan. Bar is loaded. Alan will be followed by Marianka, who will be followed by Enrico.
Down.
3 white lights. Good opener for Alan there. Marianka's up next. 155 on the bar.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Down.
And that's a good lift. 3 white lights. 200 on the bar for Enrico Johnson from South Africa, followed by South Africa's Hermanus de Beer, who will be followed by Bram van Hestien from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Down.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an African deadlift and total record. Bar is loaded for Hermanus de Beer from South Africa.
Down.
3 white lights. That's a good lift. Good work, Hermanus.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Bram van Hestien from South Africa. Bram will be followed by John Crane. Come on, Bram, let's get this. Lightweight, Bram. Come, Bram. Come on, Bram. Smack it.
Down.
And that's a good lift for Bram. Let's go to 225 kilos for South Africa's John Crane for our last of the first attempts of the second day.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for John Crane.
Down.
And 3 white lights, good lift for John. Let's get the bar down to 97.5 as we start our second attempts. Karamin is up next, followed by Serena, followed by Erin from Cameroon.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Lightweight, let's get this. sorry, no lift. Give her a round of applause, folks. That was a great fight by that young athlete. Serena up next, 105 on the bar. Bar is loaded.
Down.
3 wide lights. That's a good lift. Bar is loaded for Erin from Cameroon. Erin will be followed by South Africa's Joanna and Omer from Cameroon.
Down.
And that's a good lift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Joanna from South Africa. Joanna will be followed by Omer, who will be followed by Glenn.
Down.
And that's a good lift. Omer from Cameroon up next, 130 on the bar. Omer will be followed by Glenn van der Linde from South Africa, who will be followed by Tommy.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Thank you, Chief.
Down.
And that's a good lift. Glenn's up next. Bar is loaded for Glenn. Glenn will be followed by Tommy, will be followed by Dan.
Down.
Good lift for Glenn.
Loaded.
Bar's loaded for Tommy.
Down.
And that's a good lift for Tommy. 3 white lights. Dan up next, 150 on the bar.
Loaded.
Bar's loaded for Dan. Dan will be followed by Asa from Algeria and Mirianka from South Africa.
Down.
And that's a good lift for Dan. Well done, Dan. Asa from Algeria is up next.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Algeria.
Down.
And that's a good lift. 170.5 on the bar for Mirianka. Sorry.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Mirianka. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an Africa Junior deadlift record. Let's make some noise for Mirianka. Help her get this up. Come on, Mirianka, let's get this.
Down.
3 white lights. And that's a new Africa record. Rather happy athlete over there. Alan Ridgard up next at 180 for South Africa. He'll be followed by Brahm and Enrico.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Down.
And that's a great lift for Alan. Brahm up next, followed by Enrico, followed by Hermanus. 225 being loaded on the bar now for Brahm.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Brahm. Van Heestien from South Africa.
Down.
3 white lights, that's a good lift. Enrico Johnson from South Africa up next. He'll be followed by South Africa's Hermanus de Beer and South Africa's John Crane.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Enrico. 226. This is a record attempt. Master 1 deadlift for an Africa record. Let's make some noise, folks. Come on, let's get this, Enrico. Up.
Down.
3 white lights. Enrico making that new record look easy. 230 on the bar now for South Africa's Hermanus de Beer. Hermanus will be followed by John Crane.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Come on, Hermanus. Let's get this lightweight.
Down.
And that's a good lift for Hermanus. John Crane up next, 255 kilos. And he will be our last of the second attempts. Bar is loaded for John Crane. Come on, John, let's get this.
Down.
And that's a good lift for John.
Record.
And that's a record for Master 2 Africa deadlift.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Carmen Nika.
Down.
And happy athlete, that's a good lift. 110 on the bar for Erin from Cameroon, followed by Serena from South Africa, who will be followed by Joanna from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. up. Sorry, no lift, but what a great fight. Great fight there. Unfortunately, no lift. Serena up next, followed by Joanne, followed by Glenn.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Keep it moving off the floor. Just keep it moving. Go! Yes!
And that's a good lift. Change. Joe, change. Megan to the table, please. Bar goes to 115 for Joanna from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Joanna.
Everything, Joe. Send it, girl.
And 3 white lights. That's a good lift. Very happy athlete. Glenn van der Linde up next at 150 on the bar. He'll be followed by Cameroon's Omer and South Africa's Tommy Dernason.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded.
Down.
And that's a good lift for Glenn. Tommy is up. Oh, sorry, Omar up next, followed by Tommy.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Omer from Cameroon. Omer, jammer Tommy. Omer from Cameroon. Bar loaded for Cameroon. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. It was a good fight. Right, now we have Tommy next, then Dan, and then Marianka. Tommy's coming out at 160.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Tommy.
Down.
3 white lights. That's a good lift for Tommy. Dan Oppenheim from South Africa up next, followed by Marianka Fourie, and followed by Asa from Algeria.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Dan. Come on, Dan, let's get this. Well done, Dan. 2-1. That's a good lift. Well done, Dan. Marianka Fourie up next with another junior record attempt on the Africa deadlift. Bar is loaded. Let's make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Africa junior deadlift record attempt. And 3 white lights. That's a good lift and a new junior record. Wow. Asa from Algeria up next, followed by Alan from South Africa and Enrico from South Africa.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Master 2 Africa deadlift record attempt. Let's make some noise. Let's get behind. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a new deadlift and total Africa record for Master 2. Fantastic. Alan from South Africa up next. Alan will be followed by Enrico.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Come on, Alan.
Down.
And that's a good lift for Alan. Well done. 233 being loaded on the bar for a new Master 1 Africa record deadlift attempt by Enrico Johnson. And total as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a deadlift and total record attempt.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Let's make some noise for Enrico, ladies and gentlemen. A deadlift and total record attempt. Pop, pop, pop. It's a good fight, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Well done. 235 on the bar for Bram van Haastien from South Africa. Bram will be followed by Hermanus de Beer, who will be followed by our final lift of the day by John Crane.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded for Bram. Come on, Bram. Up. Give him a round of applause, folks. That was a good fight. Hermanus de Beer up next, 250 on the bar.
Loaded.
Bar is loaded. Give him some weight. And good lift for Hermanus. Make you look light. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, John Crane is coming out for our final lift. This will be an African deadlift and total record attempt. Our last deadlift of the day. Let's make some noise and get behind John. You've been a fantastic audience so far. Wonderful support. Bar is loaded. Let's go. Come on, John. Let's go, John. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. John still gets the total record for Master 2. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We'll be back shortly with the medal ceremony. After the medal ceremony, those people wishing to take photographs with the athletes, please use the side entrance. Do not come through the barrier tape. Please use the side entrance and come through the holding area. Thank you. Athletes from the previous session, please come through to the holding area. We're about to start the medal ceremonies. Athletes from the previous session, please come through to the holding area. We're about to start the medal ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our wonderful athletes. Keep coming through, gentlemen. Each of the athletes will be awarded a participation medal for the 2024 African Classic and Equipped Powerlifting and Bench Press Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, we will play the national anthems at the end of the medal ceremony. Every country who has a gold-winning athlete will be called to the podium for the playing of the national anthems. The medals are being presented by Munir Al-Shwedi and the African Federation President and African Vice President, and Kamal Neja, African President. All right, shall we get started? Starting with the ladies. One moment, please. Under 57 kilogram, the sub-junior ladies with the bronze medal from South Africa, Karaman Naika. Right, the silver medal goes to Cameroon's Erin Genli Tingozo. Well done. And the gold medal and your new Africa champion, South Africa's Joanna Ridgard. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, national anthems will be played at the end of the medal ceremony. Thank you, ladies. Let's move on to the 57 kilogram class. Junior, your gold medal winner and new Africa champion from South Africa, Serena Devonray. Well done. Moving on to the 76 kilogram class, your gold medal winner and new Africa champion from South Africa, Marianka Fourie. With a few Africa records as well. Well done, well done. The Master 4, 83 kilogram class Africa champion from South Africa, Dan Oppenheim. with several records, added to his several records. Well done, Dan. Well done, Dan. All right, moving on to Master 3 with the gold medal, your new Africa champion with the world record and a couple of other Africa records. South Africa's Tommy De Nason. The first world record of this tournament. Well done, Tommy. Moving on to the Master 2 74 kilogram class, your gold medal winner and new Africa champion from South Africa, Glenn van der Linde. Well done. Moving on to the Master 2 83 kilogram class, your new Africa champion and gold medal winner from Algeria, Aissa Batoufa. And with an African record as well. Several African records. Fantastic, well done. Master 2 93 kilogram class, your new Africa champion and gold medal winner from South Africa, Alan Ridgard. Fantastic. Well done, Alan. Dankie. All right. Moving on to the 105 kilogram class. From Cameroon, your new Africa champion, Orme Gaston Tingunzun. My apologies for the pronunciation. Allez, très bon. Très bon. Well done. Moving on to the 120 Master 2 category, your new Africa champion and gold medal winner from South Africa, Hermanus de Beer. Well done, Hermanus. And ladies and gentlemen, in the 120 plus category, Master 2, your new Africa champion and gold medal winner with a total record, South Africa's John Crane. In sport shoes. Well done, John.
Master 1.
Okay. Moving on to the Master 1 in the 66 kilogram class, your new Africa champion and gold medal winner from South Africa, Enrico Johnson with Africa Records. Well done, Enrico. Well done. Thank you. Moving on to the Master 1 120 kilogram class, your new Africa champion and gold medal winner from South Africa, Bram van Heestien. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now play the national anthems. Could we ask the team from Algeria please to come to the podium? Ladies and gentlemen, if you would all kindly rise, if everyone would please stand for the playing of the national anthem of Algeria. Well done. Could we please have the team from Cameroon to the front of the podium, please? Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, could we have the South African team to the front of the platform, please? Could we get the ladies to stand on the podium behind the gentlemen, please? Let's get the ladies all onto the podium. No? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise for the national anthem of South Africa? if we could ask the athletes to return to the banner, we will commence with the best lifter trophies. Ladies and gentlemen, after the best lifter trophies are awarded, if you would like to come through and take photographs, please will you go through the holding area. Do not come through or under the red barrier tape. Best sub-junior lifter from Cameroon, Aaron Genli Tingozu. Yeah.
Just explain. Best lifter is on.
The best lifter trophy is awarded on IPF GL points. The best junior, Marianka Fourie, South Africa. And best Master 4 lifter from South Africa, Dan Oppenheim. The best... Dan, we gave you 11 minutes. Thank you. All right, the best Master 3 lifter from South Africa, Tommy Denason. And the best Master 2 lifter from South Africa, John Crane. And the best Master 1 lifter from South Africa, Enrico Johnson. We'll just have a photo opportunity. Thank you so much. If we could ask the athletes to return to the banner, please. We will then play the walkout music.
Let's give our lifters another round of applause as they follow Munir out of the platform. Yes, do your lap of honor. Get another round of applause. Well done. Excellent lifting.